Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, everyone. My topic is all about persuasive communication. Persuasion and persuasive communication. The term persuasion is convincing others to change their mind or to follow a course of action. In addition with that, the art of persuasion is the art of finding the best available means of moving a specific audience in a specific situation to a specific decision. Since we are talking about persuasion, or since we are talking about persuasive communication, basically persuasion means influencing someone or other people to do something or to change their mind. In addition with that, persuasive communication is an art of gaining fair and favorable considerations to the speaker or presenter's point of view, and it provides a choice among options. Since the main purpose of persuasive communication is to get the readers or audience support and believe, it provides a choice among options because it tends to persuade the audience to provide immediate alternative actions. It advocates something through a speaker. In public speaking, the speaker or the presenter attempts to persuade the audience by advocating a purposeful message. For example, yung mga sumasali ng pageants, all of the candidates have their own advocacy. Just like the latest Miss Grand International, Miss Samantha Bernardo, her advocacy focuses on the disease called malaria here in the Philippines. And another example is Demi Lovato, which is her advocacy focuses on mental health. It uses supporting material to justify advice. So before we can fully persuade someone, or before we can fully persuade our audience, we should show some supporting material or evidences that can justify the things that we are going to say, or that can justify our arguments in order for the audience to be persuaded. It turns the audience into agents of change. Since this is persuasive communication and we use persuasion to persuade people, our audience or the audience here turns into agents of change in a way na napapaniwala natin sila, or we can get their support or belief sa argument natin or sa statement natin. It asks for strong audience commitment. So it is hard for us, or it is hard for a speaker or this presenter to fully persuade someone or the audience if the audience do not have their full attention or commitment to the topic. Well, totoo yun. Kasi mahirap naman sigurong paniwalaan yung mga taong walang attention or commitment dun sa topic. So, in this part, we should put some body language that can help us catch the attention of the audience, and we should also put some interesting activity or idea that can also catch the attentions of the audience and the audience or readers. It gives importance to the speaker's credibility. So there's this term called ethos, which is one of the modes of persuasion. So ethos was defined by Aristotle as the credibility and trustworthiness of the speaker or the presenter. So in order for us to fully persuade the audience, we must share some past experiences, or we must use some words that can make us look credible in the eyes of the audience. For example, the use of jargons. However, sa jargons naman, we must always keep in mind the type of audience we have. Kung ang audience natin ay isang normal lang na tao, or normal lang na grupo, we should not use some jargons na hindi nila alam, para hindi magiging para hindi malito yung mga audience natin sa topic. It appeals to feelings. So, kanina, there's ethos. Ngayon naman, there's this term called pathos, which means persuading by appealing to the audience or reader's emotion. So, dito naman, we should put some emotion in sharing or in conveying a message to our audience in order for us to persuade them. For example, the language choice can affect the emotional response of the audience sa atin. Gaya na lang ng kapag we can put some negative or positive feeling depende sa topic na meron tayo. It has higher ethical obligation. So according to my research, not all persuasion is ethical. So we consider persuasion as unethical if the purpose is for the personal gain at the expense of other, or personal gain without the knowledge of the audience. However, persuasion can be ethical if it explores the audience point of view, it explains the point of view of the speaker, and it creates resolution for the audience and the speaker. The next topic that we are going to discuss is the different types of persuasive communication. Correct me if I'm wrong kung mali po itong nakuha ko na types ng persuasive communication. So, let's start. Number 1 is the intrapersonal persuasive communication, and it involves reflective thinking or internal vocalization. Then nangyayari po ito kapag when we are trying to convince ourselves to do something. For example, kapag tinatamad tayong gumawa ng assignment, pero kailangan natin because of the deadlines and requirements siya for school. So, when we are trying to convince ourselves to do our assignment or to finish the task that is given to us. The next type of persuasive communication is the interpersonal persuasive communication. So, itong type ng communication na to, it involves two people, which is these two people have already established a close bond, and dalawa mismo sila yung gumagamit ng persuasive strategies to convince each other. Group persuasive communication. So, it occurs between individuals who may not have established a close bond. So, this happens in a larger setting where there are more than two people that is present in the conversation or in the communication process. Since we are done talking about persuasive communication, the types of persuasive communication, let's now proceed to the modes of persuasion. Number 1 is the ethos. I think I said earlier that ethos was defined by Aristotle as the credibility and trustworthiness of the speaker. And ethos can be developed by choosing a language that is appropriate to the audience and to the topic. An example is the jargons. However, in using jargons, we should always keep in mind the audience the type of audience we have. For example, if I am a speaker and I am a medical doctor or a surgeon, I should not use some words that only doctors, nurses, and other people in the medical field knows, kasi it may cause confusion to the audience. However, another example is experiences. Past experiences, Kailangan, as an author or as a speaker, as a presenter, you should also share your past experiences related to the topic in order for you to look credible. Pathos or emotional appeal, it means to persuade an audience by appealing to their emotion. So, authors use pathos to invoke sympathy from an audience to make the audience feel what the author wants them to feel. By the way, the word pathos is the Greek word for both suffering and experience. And pathos can be developed by giving a meaningful language, emotional tone, emotion-evoking examples, and stories of emotional events. Yon. And the last one is the logos or the appeal to logic. Means to convince an audience by the use of logic or reason. So, if we are going to use logos in persuading someone, we should cite some facts and statistics that can justify the things that we are going to say or that can justify the message that we are trying to convey. Logos can be developed by using advanced, theoretical, and abstract knowledge. And always keep in mind, in using logos, citing facts is very important because facts can justify the can justify our argument or our topic.